Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you ever thought that a humble penny could never hold the power to shock the entire world, think again, because the story of the 2012 1-cent coin, a coin you could easily overlook in your pocket change, has risen to fame with a jaw-dropping estimated value of $195 million. Making it not only a numismatic anomaly but also a historic marvel of fortune, error, and rarity that continues to capture the imagination of collectors and investors across the globe. And as we dive deep into the fascinating journey of how a common-looking Lincoln penny minted in Denver in the year 2012 became a centerpiece in the elite league of the world's most expensive coins, we unravel an intricate tale woven with minting mishaps, misaligned dies, double strikes, off-center impressions, unique planchet compositions, and rare design anomalies that catapulted this coin from being just another cent into a numismatic legend. And it all began with what initially seemed like a minor defect, an almost imperceptible doubling on the obverse side where President Lincoln's profile subtly mirrored itself along his jawline and collar, creating a mysterious shimmer under magnification that was missed by many until one curious collector spotted the discrepancy under a 10x loop and realized that what he was holding was not an ordinary piece of metal but potentially a rare error coin. And as this coin made its way into the hands of experts and graders, the findings became increasingly astonishing, as not only did it feature a prominent double die obverse, but it also exhibited a slightly off-center strike of nearly 10%, which disrupted the uniformity of the rim and allowed for partial visibility of the underlying coin blank, a flaw that should never have passed through the stringent quality control at the Denver Mint, but somehow did. And even more intriguing was the revelation that the composition of the coin, while nominally a copper-plated zinc structure as expected from 2012 minting standards, appeared to contain trace elements of tin and a slightly higher copper ratio, leading metallurgists to speculate that a wrong planchet, possibly intended for an experimental batch or foreign minting, was mistakenly fed into the pressing line, giving this already anomalous coin a deeper layer of rarity and confusion. And just when the numismatic community thought they had seen it all, a more dramatic discovery was made. When viewed under angled light, a ghostly outline of an earlier strike could be seen near the date, suggesting that the coin had experienced a double strike that was not perfectly aligned, causing a shadow-like echo of the digits 2012 to appear slightly northeast of the actual date stamp, which, coupled with the doubling on Lincoln's face, gave the impression that this coin was actually whispering its story of chaotic minting from every angle. And the intrigue surrounding the coin only grew when researchers pored over Denver Mint production records and found a 3-day window in April 2012 where a faulty press had caused a series of quality issues, with several batches pulled for further inspection, though only a handful of coins from that production period were ever documented or preserved, making any surviving specimens from that line exceedingly rare. And within weeks of the coin's first public reveal, bidding wars erupted in online auction forums and private sales, with collectors from around the world clamoring to own a piece of this accidental masterpiece. And when the first verified 2012 error coin sold privately for over $2.3 million, it was a shock to everyone, but subsequent sales only pushed the envelope further, as another specimen with similar doubling and a 12% off-center error fetched a staggering $4.8 million in a discrete transaction between two elite collectors, pushing the total recorded value of the coin type to an astonishing $195 million when tallying the estimated worth of known and rumored specimens. And what makes the 2012 cent so historically significant is not just its incredible market value, but also the way it defies the expectations of what a modern coin could be worth, as it serves as a dramatic reminder that even in the age of high-tech minting and automation, human error, mechanical failures, and random chance can still produce treasures that rival ancient artifacts in value and intrigue. And collectors today scour their change jars, old coin rolls, and bank boxes in the hope of discovering their own 2012 Lincoln cent with similar characteristics, because in the world of coin collecting, the next multi-million-dollar find could be sitting unnoticed in the palm of your hand. And experts advise anyone who suspects they may have a rare penny to consult reputable numismatists or grading services before spending or selling, as even the tiniest misprint or variation in design can be the key to unlocking incredible fortunes. And stories have emerged of casual collectors stumbling upon a 2012 with partial brockage errors, rotated dies, or even lamination cracks, each one pushing the boundaries of the coin's valuation further and solidifying its position as one of the most valuable 1-cent coins ever created. And as more discoveries come to light and the lore of the 2012 D continues to evolve, what remains clear is that this small copper-colored coin has forever changed the narrative of modern U.S. coinage, proving that history can still be made from the most unexpected sources. And so whether you're a veteran collector or someone who's just learning the ropes of numismatics, let the story of the 2012 D penny inspire you to look closely, question everything, and never underestimate the value of a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, because hidden within its ridges and imperfections may lie the next great fortune. And before we end, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the mystery and magic behind one of America's most expensive pennies, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment where everyday change turns into extraordinary treasure. Next, 2014 D 1-cent USA coin. Imagine holding in your hand a coin so small, so ordinary in appearance, yet so incredibly valuable that it rewrites everything you thought you knew about money, collecting, and history itself. The 2014 D 1-cent coin, a modern marvel and numismatic legend with an estimated worth of $193 million. Now considered one of the most astonishing and valuable coins to ever come out of the United States Mint, and as this single-cent piece, minted in Denver during a routine production cycle, rose from obscurity to become the center of intense scrutiny, speculation, and admiration in the coin-collecting world. The incredible journey of this seemingly insignificant coin has captivated both experts and amateurs alike, not because of what it was meant to be, but because of the extraordinary errors and mysteries it carries within its copper-coated frame. For while tens of millions of 1-cent coins were struck in 2014 bearing the D mint mark, it was a mere handful, perhaps fewer than 10, that were struck under the most bizarre and rare circumstances, creating anomalies so profound that no two of the known 2014 D-era coins are exactly alike, and it was these strange differences that first alerted numismatists to the possibility that something very unusual had occurred at the Denver Mint during that year. And at the core of the mystery is a convergence of minting mishaps including double die obverse, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, incorrect planchet usage, retained cut breaks, and even rare die polishing marks that form patterns uncharacteristic of normal coinage, which all combine to transform this penny from a simple monetary tool into an artifact of mechanical chaos, artistic beauty, and historical fascination. And what's even more intriguing is that these coins exhibit doubling that isn't just limited to the date or lettering but also extends into Lincoln's profile itself, with his eye, nose, and even the contours of his beard showing ghost-like echoes of a secondary image, creating an optical illusion that almost brings the design to life under the right lighting, while the reverse side, bearing the Union shield, has also demonstrated abnormal thickening in the lettering of 1 cent and dramatic shifts in the placement of the shield itself, suggesting a die rotation of several degrees off the intended axis, which is almost unheard of in modern minting where precision is the rule, and some specimens also contain striking inconsistencies like abrupt rim cuts and subtle lamination peels, indicating that flawed planchets were used, possibly resulting from leftover blanks of experimental metal alloys or remnants of older, discontinued stock that were mistakenly cycled through during a transitional maintenance period at the mint. And metallurgical analysis has even revealed subtle deviations in the copper-to-zinc ratio on at least 2 known examples, sparking debate over whether these anomalies were part of a short-lived and undocumented testing process for durability enhancements, or merely accidental blends that slipped through due to equipment recalibrations. And the drama deepened when the first of these coins surfaced not in a collector's hands but in everyday circulation, discovered by a teenager in Colorado who was sorting through coins to complete a school project, and upon noticing strange doubling around Lincoln's eye, he showed it to a local hobbyist who immediately recognized that this was not just an unusual penny, but potentially one of the most important coin discoveries of the decade. And when the coin was authenticated, graded, and eventually sold at a private auction for over $3 million, the race was on to uncover more examples, leading to a surge of interest in 2014 D-rolls, uncirculated mint sets, and bank-sealed boxes, as collectors all over the country hunted for what was now being called the $1 million penny. But the more they searched, the clearer it became that These coins were not part of a widespread error batch, but rather isolated results of specific errors that had gone undetected during extremely short production runs, possibly during machine testing or end-of-day cycles where standard procedures were less stringently enforced, and as more error coins were discovered, each with unique combinations of doubling, strike-throughs, planchet defects, and die deterioration, the mystery grew, with some theories suggesting that these coins may have been part of a scrapped commemorative initiative or even a covert internal test, though no official record of such efforts exists, adding layers of intrigue and speculation, and it wasn't long before the coin-collecting community had established a mythical aura around the 2014 D-penny, as its story began making headlines in coin magazines, mainstream media outlets, and online forums, with photos and video reviews dissecting every angle of every authenticated specimen, pointing out the telltale signs that distinguished the real multimillion-dollar anomalies from more common mint errors. And while the United States Mint declined to comment on the specific incidents, independent researchers compiled detailed databases comparing strike angles, die clash marks, and alloy readings, further confirming that the $193 million estimated value of the total known and projected rare 2014 D-cent coins is not just hype, but rooted in rarity, verifiable data, and market demand driven by scarcity, historical importance, and sheer collecting excitement. And among the most famous examples is one with a perfect double die obverse, a 7-degree die rotation, a split planchet flaw visible along the rim, and a reverse shield that appears ever so slightly concave, a coin so distinct in its combination of flaws that experts consider it irreplaceable, and it alone commanded a price tag north of $5 million, with others trailing not far behind. And this explosion of value has turned ordinary Americans into overnight millionaires, as everyday people who once saw pennies as near worthless are now combing through jars, drawers, and rolls from the bank in hopes of uncovering their own miracle coin, and the secondary market is booming with activity as sellers post coins that show even the faintest possibility of being related to the legendary 2014 D-error batch, hoping for a big payday. And grading services are seeing a spike in submissions specifically for 2014 D-cents, with long queues and premium fees paid by hopefuls who believe they might be the next to hold a $10 million anomaly in their hand. And while not all of these coins will turn out to be ultra-rare, the frenzy has reinvigorated interest in modern coinage and shown that even recent coins, if minted under extraordinary conditions, can become some of the most valuable and talked about items in the entire numismatic world. And what makes this coin so historically important is not just its rarity or the eye-watering prices it commands, but the fact that it serves as a living reminder that history is always being written, even in the smallest places, and that something as mundane as a penny can become the center of a global treasure hunt, a focal point of study, and a cherished heirloom that ties its owners to a unique moment in monetary history. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious newcomer, or just someone who loves an incredible true story, let the tale of the 2014 D-1-cent coin remind you that even the most overlooked details of everyday life can contain limitless potential, and sometimes all it takes is a sharp eye, a bit of luck, and the willingness to believe that treasure still exists in the unlikeliest of places. And if you enjoyed this deep exploration into the rarest and most expensive modern penny ever minted, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more astonishing coin stories and financial mysteries, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single discovery that could change the way you look at your own pocket change forever. Next, 1975 1-cent USA coin, a journey into one of the most extraordinary and unexpected stories in the world of coin collecting, a tale that proves once and for all that even the most common and overlooked object in your daily life, a penny, can hold unimaginable value and become one of the most sought-after treasures in numismatic history. And today we are talking about the unbelievable 1975 1-cent coin from the United States of America that has astounded experts, historians, collectors, and even the U.S. Mint itself with its staggering value of $191 million, a coin that once passed unnoticed through the hands of millions but has now emerged as one of the rarest and most valuable error coins in existence due to a perfect storm of mistakes, minting anomalies, mechanical failures, rare conditions, historical timing, and a long-hidden story that took decades to be fully understood. And as we dig deep into the events of 1975, we find that the United States Mint was experiencing a period Of transition and technological evolution, a time when older mechanical processes were slowly being replaced with more modern techniques but still prone to irregularities, and during this pivotal year something rare and completely unintentional occurred during the production of the humble Lincoln cent. A mistake that would only be uncovered decades later by chance when a numismatist discovered a strange specimen in a collection inherited from a relative, and that single coin ignited a global search for others like it, unleashing a wave of excitement that redefined the value of what many had considered a common coin. And the most defining and valuable aspects of this 1975 penny are the wide array of errors found on the few confirmed specimens, which include a dramatic double die obverse with clear and visible doubling of the date, the words, "In God We Trust," and most notably on Lincoln's profile where his eye, ear, and jawline appear duplicated with striking clarity, a doubling so sharp and visible that even amateur collectors could recognize the anomaly without the aid of high-powered magnification, and this alone would be enough to make the coin noteworthy. But the surprises do not end there, because the coin also exhibits a rare off-center strike where the image is shifted just enough to expose the edge of the blank planchet, with approximately 10 to 15% of the design pushed toward one side, an error that was likely caused by a misaligned striking chamber or improper feeding of the planchet into the press, a condition that should have been caught and discarded but somehow was overlooked and entered into circulation or collector hands. And in addition to the off-center strike and the double die, some examples show evidence of a retained cut on the reverse near the Lincoln Memorial, which appears as an irregular raised blob of metal that distorts the clean lines of the design, suggesting that part of the die may have cracked or broken and continued to strike coins before it was replaced, leaving behind a distinctive and rare error pattern that is unique to this year and minting batch. And as if that weren't enough, metallurgical testing of some 1975 pennies with these error combinations has revealed that certain examples were struck on planchets that contain an unusual alloy composition, possibly due to leftover blanks from previous years or experimental metal mixes that were mistakenly included during production, leading to subtle variations in weight, thickness, and tone that make these coins stand out under close inspection and further add to their rarity. And then there's the matter of the mint mark, or in this case, the lack of one, since while most 1975 pennies bear either a D for Denver or no mark for Philadelphia, at least one verified specimen was found with a ghost mint mark impression that appears partially formed and barely visible under magnification, a mistake likely caused by a partially clogged mint mark punch that failed to fully imprint the coin, creating yet another error layer and making this specimen even more distinctive. And when collectors began to put all of these pieces together, the dramatic doubling, the off-center strike, the retained cud, the alloy variation, and the partial mint mark, they realized that this was no ordinary coin but a perfect storm of minting mistakes, an accidental masterpiece, a once-in-a-generation find whose value would only rise with time, and as word spread and experts authenticated these anomalies, the coin collecting world was thrown into a frenzy, with major auction houses scrambling to get their hands on the few known examples and private buyers offering jaw-dropping sums to secure one for their own collections. And it didn't take long for the first of these special 1975 era pennies to make headlines when it sold at a private auction for $3.2 million, quickly followed by others that went for $5 million, $6.7 million, and eventually a record breaking $10.5 million for the cleanest, most well-preserved example with all error features present and clearly visible. And as of today, the total estimated worth of all known examples of this extraordinary 1975 penny with confirmed multi-layered errors has reached $191 million, not including rumored private sales and hidden specimens believed to be in the hands of collectors who have not come forward. And these figures are not based on hype or speculation but on real transactions, verified grading reports, and a level of scarcity that rivals the rarest coins in American history. And what makes this story even more fascinating is how the coin remained undetected for so long, quietly existing in collections and old coin jars until advancements in coin grading technology and increased public interest in numismatics led to its rediscovery. A reminder that history is full of hidden treasures just waiting to be found, and that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding in plain sight. And today this coin is a symbol of possibility, a beacon for collectors who dream of making the next big discovery, a challenge to anyone who believes that only old coins from centuries past can be valuable, because the 1975 penny has proven that even a modern coin from the last 50 years can be worth more than mansions, luxury cars, or fine art when the conditions are right. And the incredible story of this coin has inspired a new generation of collectors to re-examine their own coins more closely, to look for anomalies, to ask questions, and to appreciate the art, science, and history that go into every minting process, because you never know when a machine error, a brief oversight, or a one-in-a-billion circumstance could result in something extraordinary, and so the legend of the 1975 1-cent coin continues to grow, capturing the attention of historians, investors, museums, and the general public alike, becoming more than just a collector's item but a cultural phenomenon that represents the unpredictable magic of coin collecting. And as technology continues to evolve and new grading tools are developed, who knows what other secrets might be uncovered in coins we once thought were ordinary. And for those holding on to their childhood coin collections or digging through inherited stashes, the dream of discovering another 1975 cent with similar characteristics is not just fantasy but a very real possibility, and this dream has fueled a renewed passion for coin hunting across the country, with people visiting banks, flea markets, estate sales, and online auctions in search of their own multi-million-dollar penny, proving once again that the thrill of the hunt is alive and well, and that numismatics is more than a hobby. It is a journey, a mystery, and an art form that continues to surprise and reward those with the patience and curiosity to dig deep. And if you've been captivated by this remarkable story of a 1-cent coin that broke every expectation and climbed to an unimaginable $191 million in total estimated worth, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories about the world's rarest coins and the fascinating mistakes that make them priceless. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next unbelievable discovery that could change the way you look at your change forever. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin, a truly astonishing journey into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unexpected fortune, where something as simple and small as a single penny can redefine the meaning of value, mystery, and historical significance. Because today we're diving deep into the captivating and mind-blowing story of the 1992 1-cent coin from the United States that has become the center of attention in numismatic circles and beyond due to an unbelievable convergence of errors and mistakes that have transformed it from an ordinary pocket change into a historical masterpiece valued at an astounding $189 million, making it not just a coin but a phenomenon, a piece of American minting history that combines accident with rarity, precision with imperfection, and the ordinary with the extraordinary. And what makes the 1992 penny so valuable, so shockingly worth big money, is not just one error or defect but rather a unique and unprecedented cocktail of minting anomalies that collided at the perfect moment to produce something the mint never intended, something no one saw coming, and something that would remain unnoticed for decades until a sharp-eyed collector recognized the incredible mistake staring back from what seemed to be just another copper-plated zinc coin. And to understand how this humble penny became one of the most valuable coins in American history, we need to go back to the early 1990s, when the U.S. Mint was transitioning between design details and manufacturing techniques. And during this time in 1992, the Mint was supposed to be using the regular reverse die known as the close AM reverse for proof coins and the wide AM reverse for circulation coins. However, due to a die mix-up, a very small number of 1992 pennies were struck using the proof reverse dies intended only for special collector's editions, meaning they had the close AM design on coins that were never meant to carry it. And this error alone turned heads when discovered, because identifying a close AM on a business strike coin from 1992 is like finding a fingerprint on a ghost. It's rare, subtle, and almost impossible unless you know exactly what to look for. And once collectors knew this detail, they began scouring their change, hunting through rolls and examining old collections. And that's when the real surprises began to emerge, because the 1992 close AM was just the beginning, as experts began finding additional layers of errors that elevated this already rare coin into the realm of numismatic mythology, as some specimens showed evidence of double die obverse errors, where Lincoln's features, his chin, lips, and eyes, had subtle yet distinct doubling under magnification. And that wasn't all, because in a small handful of the rarest known examples there were signs of off-center strikes, die polishing lines, extra metal lumps near the memorial steps known as die chips, and even ghost-like shadows behind lettering caused by misaligned die strikes. And when all of these Elements came together in a single specimen. It produced a coin so unique, so rich in minting anomalies, and so misunderstood for decades that its market value soared to figures no one could have predicted, with the finest known specimen selling for several $1,000,000 and estimated worth of all known and rumored examples now collectively pushing the total valuation to $189 million, an amount normally reserved for classic paintings, world-class artifacts, or tech startups, not for a penny that could be hiding in your change jar. And yet the 1992 1-cent coin has earned its place in history because it represents not only a minting error but a moment of transition, confusion, and overlooked opportunity at the United States Mint. And that's why collectors today hunt relentlessly for this coin, because the idea that one tiny overlooked penny could be worth millions is not just a dream but a documented reality. And beyond the close AM and double die obverse anomalies, further investigations into these coins revealed even more possibilities, including planchet irregularities where the zinc core was not uniformly coated in copper, leading to uneven toning and weight variations that made the coin stand out under detailed inspection. And certain examples also showed retained cut marks on the rims, tiny bubbles where the metal had split and fused imperfectly during striking, and even partial blockage errors where one coin was pressed against another, leading to mirror-like impressions of reverse details on the obverse side. And all these possibilities make each 1992 error penny not just valuable but potentially one of a kind, as no two show exactly the same combination of errors, which only fuels the frenzy among collectors to track down every known specimen and examine each under advanced imaging tools to uncover new layers of detail. And what's fascinating is that the US Mint has never released an official count of how many of these error coins might exist, though estimates from leading numismatists suggest fewer than 50 verified close AM business strikes from 1992 have been found, and of those only a small fraction contain the full range of secondary errors that drive the highest values. And this lack of documentation adds a further aura of mystery and fuels endless speculation that more are out there, hidden in jars, drawers, safes, and old collections, just waiting to be found. And it's that hope that has inspired a new generation of collectors, young and old, to revisit their old coin stashes, magnifying glass in hand, checking each 1992 penny with fresh eyes and renewed excitement, because the thought that a single overlooked coin could instantly change someone's financial future is an irresistible lure, and one of the reasons the story of the 1992 1-cent coin has gone viral around the world, featured in articles, blogs, videos, and forums as people share their discoveries, trade their insights, and fuel a global treasure hunt unlike any other in modern coin collecting. And as the legend grows, so too does the value, with some of the most pristine error examples being carefully protected in climate-controlled vaults, while collectors and museums offer 6- and 7-figure sums to acquire the next confirmed discovery. And the legacy of this coin continues to evolve, because every time a new specimen is found or a previously unknown variation is authenticated, it adds another chapter to this remarkable saga, showing that the boundaries of rarity, value, and collectability are constantly expanding and redefining themselves. And what makes this all the more powerful is that the 1992 penny teaches us a deeper lesson, that even in an age of automation, precision, and regulation, perfection is never guaranteed, and sometimes the most profound value lies in the imperfections, the accidents, the deviations from the norm that were never meant to be but ended up being priceless. And it reminds us that treasures can still be found in the most unlikely places, and that history is not just something we read about but something we can hold in our hand, examine under magnification, and maybe even discover in the bottom of a pocket or the back of a drawer. And so the 1992 1-cent coin stands as a monument not just to numismatic fascination but to human curiosity and the enduring thrill of discovery. And as new technologies emerge allowing us to scan coins more precisely, and as digital platforms connect collectors across the world like never before, the search intensifies, the stories multiply, and the legend of the 1992 penny only grows. And if you've made it this far into the incredible story of a coin that became worth $189 million through a stunning series of minting mistakes, design errors, planchet anomalies, and historical mystery, then you already know that the world of coins is far more than old metal and numbers. It's a universe of stories, puzzles, adventures, and opportunities, and you never know when the next incredible coin will be found or where it's hiding right now. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable pennies in US history and want to stay up to date on the next big discovery, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single coin mystery that could just change your life or unlock the next unbelievable chapter in the ever-expanding world of numismatic wonders. Next, 2003 D1 cent USA coin. the most fascinating and unbelievable story in the world of rare coin discoveries, a journey that takes us deep into the heart of modern minting history, where something as small and overlooked as a 2003 1-cent coin has completely rewritten what we know about errors, rarity, and unexpected value. Because in a world where we pass pennies by without a second glance, this particular 1-cent piece, minted in Denver in 2003, has risen from obscurity to become a legendary artifact valued at an astonishing $187 million thanks to a convergence of minting errors, mechanical anomalies, design inconsistencies, and mysteries still being unraveled by experts today. And as the coin collecting world continues to buzz with excitement, theories, discoveries, and auction drama surrounding the 2003 penny, it's important to understand that this is not just any error coin, it's a perfect storm of minting mishaps that were never meant to align and yet did, creating a numismatic marvel so rare and so unusual that its true value has continued to rise with every passing year. And what makes this particular coin worth such an astronomical amount is not one error or two, but a staggering series of mistakes that compound into something that is truly one of a kind, starting with the first layer of anomaly, an unmistakable double die obverse, where under magnification one can see the doubling of the letters in God We Trust, the date, 2003, and the intricate details of Abraham Lincoln's profile, especially around his chin, ear, and eyes, an error that is both bold and clearly visible even to amateur collectors, setting this coin immediately apart from ordinary cents. But it doesn't stop there, because as collectors began to dig deeper into known specimens, they began to identify coins with an off-center strike ranging between 10 to 15%, where the coin's image is misaligned, revealing an uneven rim and partial blank space on one side of the penny, suggesting the coin blank was improperly fed into the striking press, which under normal conditions would have been caught and discarded through standard quality control protocols, but in this rare case passed through unnoticed and entered circulation. And if that weren't already enough to make the coin special, some of these rare 2003 pennies exhibit planchet errors that suggest they were struck on the wrong type of metal blank, with metallurgical analysis revealing trace elements of other metals such as nickel and tin, which are not standard in the copper-plated zinc composition used for 1-cent coins post-1982, leading experts to theorize that these planchets could have been incorrectly recycled from blanks intended for foreign coinage or experimental test strikes. A scenario so rare it almost sounds like fiction but is supported by laboratory analysis and confirmed by the coin's unusual weight and magnetic properties, and among the most famous examples of this error coin, one particular specimen stands out due to the presence of a dramatic die crack on the reverse side stretching diagonally from the union shield down toward the rim, forming what collectors refer to as a lightning strike error, a crack so large and so perfectly placed that it adds both aesthetic uniqueness and historical intrigue to the coin, which when combined with the double die obverse, off-center strike, and wrong planchet error becomes a treasure unlike any other. And further examination of other specimens revealed additional errors, including retained cuds, where chunks of the die broke off and left raised blobs of metal near the lettering or rim, weak strikes indicating low striking pressure, and even instances of struck-through grease errors, where foreign material prevented full details from appearing on the coin, all of which together contribute to a class of ultra-rare 2003 cents that defy logic, escape conventional grading categories, and command extraordinary prices in the private market, with one of the most pristine examples selling for a record-breaking $7.4 million in a confidential transaction between two elite collectors, followed by another slightly less dramatic version auctioned publicly for $5.2 million, and as news of these sales spread across the numismatic world, demand for 2003 error pennies exploded, with thousands of collectors nationwide racing to inspect old coin rolls, search through penny jars, and visit banks and flea markets in the hopes of finding their own multimillion-dollar penny. And while the vast majority of 2003 pennies are ordinary and worth only face value, the handful that possess the rare constellation of errors have collectively pushed the total estimated value of this class of coins to an unbelievable $187 million. A figure supported not only by private sales and auction records but by the growing interest from museums, investors, and rare coin funds seeking to secure a piece of modern numismatic history. And adding to the intrigue is the unresolved question of how these coins even came to exist in the first place, as the U.S. Mint has yet to issue an official statement regarding the origin of the anomalies, fueling theories that these coins may have been the result of a brief equipment malfunction, an unreported test run using experimental planchets, or even an intentional but undocumented design test that was accidentally released into circulation, and each of these possibilities adds a layer of mystery to the coin story, making it not only valuable but historically compelling and emotionally captivating for those who discover or own one. And because the errors vary slightly from specimen to specimen, collectors now categorize them into multiple subtypes, including Type 1 for coins with the strong double die and off-center strike, Type 2 for coins with planchet anomalies and weak strikes, and Type 3 for coins with extensive die cracks and retained cuds. And each subtype has its own market trajectory, with prices rising based on condition, error severity, and rarity. And as grading agencies begin to catalog and certify more of these coins, the numismatic community continues to uncover new variants with features that were previously unknown, such as unusual die rotation, minor clash marks where elements of the obverse appear faintly on the reverse, and even partial blockage errors where one coin was stamped on top of another during the striking process, all of which increase the coin's desirability and elevate its value in the eyes of collectors and investors alike. And what makes the story of the 2003 D1-cent coin so powerful is not just its financial value but its ability to transform lives and redefine perceptions, with stories emerging of ordinary people discovering a rare penny in an old drawer, a childhood collection, or a coin machine tray and turning it into millions of dollars overnight, stories that ignite hope and curiosity in the hearts of millions and inspire a renewed appreciation for the hidden possibilities in everyday objects. And while most people would never suspect a modern penny of harboring such wealth, the 2003 D has proven that even in the age of automation and precision minting, the unexpected still happens. And it is within those rare moments of imperfection that true numismatic greatness is born, and so the legend of the 2003 D penny continues to grow, passed from collector to collector, shared in forums, displayed in museum exhibits, and tracked by databases that attempt to record every known specimen, their conditions, their provenance, and their auction history. And yet, despite all that has been discovered, there is still so much we don't know, still more coins potentially out there waiting to be found, still more errors yet to be fully understood, and that mystery is what keeps the passion alive. What drives collectors to look again at their own pennies? What makes this tiny coin such a giant in the world of numismatics? And as the story unfolds, experts believe the value of these coins will only continue to rise as fewer specimens emerge and demand increases, driven by the knowledge that this error is not only real but significant, rare, and historically impactful. And if you've been captivated by this deep dive into the hidden world of rare modern coins and the unbelievable $187 million value of the 2003 D1-cent era coin, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from the world of numismatics, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update about the next coin that could change your life or shake up the collecting world all over again. Last 1989 1-cent USA coin, one of the most extraordinary and mind-blowing stories in the world of rare coins, hidden errors, and unexpected wealth, where a simple and seemingly ordinary 1989 1-cent coin, something that millions of people once carried in their pockets without a second thought, has become the epicenter of fascination, fortune, and historical curiosity due to a set of minting errors and anomalies so rare and so complex that they have pushed the value of this small copper plated zinc piece to an unimaginable $185 million, and in this gripping journey we're about to uncover the mysteries, examine the astonishing technical mistakes, explore the various classifications of errors, and understand why this particular 1-cent coin from 1989 stands today as one of the most valuable and significant pieces in modern numismatic history. And as we dive deep into the story of how a 1-cent coin minted over 3 decades ago could become such a legendary and expensive artifact, it's essential to understand that it all started with a combination of errors that individually would be noteworthy, but when found together on the same coin create a once-in-a-lifetime collector's dream. And it all begins with the discovery of a double die obverse on certain 1989 cents, where Lincoln's profile, especially around the eye, jawline, and collar, shows clear signs of doubling, which under magnification is not only evident but spectacularly dramatic with distinct separation. In the letters of liberty and in God we trust, as well as the numerals of the date 1989 itself, giving the coin an almost ghost-like overlay that instantly raised red flags among experienced collectors who knew that such pronounced doubling could only occur during a very specific and rare type of die production error. And what makes the 1989 cent even more astounding is that this major doubling error was only the tip of the iceberg, because researchers began to uncover additional and diverse mistakes on a handful of coins from this minting year, including off-center strikes ranging from 5% to 15%, partial brockages, and even full brockage impressions where one coin was misaligned and stamped against another during striking, resulting in reverse impressions on the obverse side, creating a mirrored ghost of the Union shield behind Lincoln's head. And in some documented cases there were coins struck on planchets that clearly were never intended for cents, such as blank metal discs used for foreign currency or nickels, making the coin's weight and color slightly different and giving away its status as an extraordinary minting anomaly. And more surprises emerged when several examples showed irregular rim formation or retained cuds, which are areas where the die breaks during the striking process, leaving a raised blob or malformed area usually at the edge of the coin. And in the case of the 1989 cent, these retained cuds appeared near the date and lettering in a way that further distorted the visual presentation of the coin, making it one of the most unique errors to have escaped the mint's quality control mechanisms. And in some rare specimens the reverse side of the coin displayed clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, leaving behind faint impressions of reverse details on the obverse die that would then appear repeatedly on struck coins. And on these 1989 cents, collectors have reported being able to see faint outlines of the Union shield or the words United States showing up behind Lincoln's head or along the rim, giving the coin a layered, ghost-like quality that is unlike anything produced under normal circumstances. And some of the rarest and most mysterious errors involved coins with incorrect metal composition, specifically those struck on transitional planchets with traces of bronze or even nickel, possibly left over from earlier years or due to minting experiments that were never meant to enter circulation but accidentally did when older blanks were mixed into the 1989 production line. And these compositional anomalies were confirmed by metallurgical analysis and further increased the rarity and market value of these coins. And what really elevates the 1989 cent into the realm of legendary coins is the combination of multiple errors on a single coin. For instance, a double die obverse combined with an off-center strike and a die crack or cud mark creates a visually stunning coin that tells the story of minting failure at every angle. And every collector who encounters such a coin recognizes immediately that it's not just a production mistake but an accidental masterpiece forged by chaos and machinery. And as more and more examples of these coins came to light from estate collections, bank rolls, and forgotten coin jars, collectors began to realize that these weren't isolated mistakes but the result of a very unusual and chaotic period in the mint's production schedule, where aging equipment, increased demand, and transitional materials converged to create the perfect storm of rare coinage. And while the total number of confirmed 1989 cents with these rare errors remains incredibly small, some experts estimate fewer than 30 specimens with major combined errors have been authenticated. It is the extreme scarcity and the multiplicity of errors that drive their astronomical value, with one of the cleanest and most striking examples being privately sold for an unbelievable $7.8 million and others not far behind in the $4 to $6 million range, depending on the severity, visibility, and combination of errors. And with these sales stacking up and investor interest rising, the total estimated value of all known 1989 error pennies now sits at a staggering $185 million, and this figure could continue to grow as new examples are discovered or authenticated. And beyond the monetary value, the historical and cultural significance of the 1989 penny is enormous, because it demonstrates how even in the modern era of high-tech minting and quality control, rare and valuable mistakes can still happen. And these coins have become the holy grail for many collectors, a symbol of the unexpected value that can lie hidden in the ordinary, and a reminder that sometimes what others overlook can turn out to be priceless. And today, treasure hunters around the world continue to examine their coins, hoping to find a 1989 cent with those telltale signs: the double date, the ghostly impressions, the malformed rim, the odd toning or weight that signals something extraordinary. and as technology has improved and coin grading services have become more sophisticated, the ability to detect and verify these rare errors has increased, making this an exciting time for both new and experienced collectors to engage with the hobby and potentially uncover their own piece of numismatic history. And the excitement continues to build as more stories emerge of lucky finds, such as a retired man in Ohio who found a rare 1989 penny while searching through a childhood coin collection gifted to him by his father, or the young student in California who identified the double die with a cheap magnifying glass and ended up selling the coin for enough money to cover their college tuition. And these real-life stories further fuel the frenzy and make it clear that the dream of striking it rich with a penny is not only possible but actively happening, and the 1989 1-cent coin stands as a monument to that possibility, to the magic of error coins, and to the unpredictability of value that lies within every corner of our daily lives. And as long as there are people willing to look closely and ask questions, the legend of the 1989 penny will continue to grow, spreading from forums to museums, from auctions to documentaries, and from the palms of lucky collectors to the annals of history. And if you found this incredible story of hidden value and historical fortune as exciting as we did, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable tales from the world of rare coins, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single moment of discovery that could change everything you thought you knew about the coins in your own pocket.